Oh, hello everybody. So here's, I'm going to show you how to uh, uh, update the sector team list. So I'm going to start off by showing you something else here. Uh, I created this Google Drive working files infrastructure, which is a handy little um, basically table of contents launchpad for most of the stuff we're working with. And I'm going to go in there into the sector program section and sector teams company dashboard. I'm going to open that up. That's the file that we want to modify. Hello. Okay, and there it is. And it's preparing itself. Oh, it looks like somebody forgot to unfilter themselves. This is really important. If you use the filter, be sure you unfilter before you leave. Like this, select all. Okay, so everybody else can see their stuff as well. So what I'm going to do now is to find my stuff in here. And this is assuming that my name is in all the right places. May not be, and you may want to scan through the entire list. But we'll roll it up to the top there just to show you how this works. So I am going to clear everybody, and then I'm going to re-add myself. Okay. Now you can see that I've got 5 organizations listed on here. Some of them I've already done. You can tell that because the last update here is a couple of days ago. Happy New Year. When these dates are more than a month old, like if I were to put in 10/1/17, it'll show up in red automatically, and that just tells you that this update is over a month old, and you probably got to go in and just update it, even if there's no change in status. So I'm going to update this one as of today, which is the 4th. 1/4 will do it. And here, this is the most current history. The next action here for him would be, let's say, by Jan 31, email, call Elliot for update. And this is a fellow who's got a lot of connections, and he basically folded up his company and is now, he said the last time I talked to him, working full-time on climate and environment related stuff. So possibly good guy. So my next action item then will be due by 1/31, and that's good. So then he is a company, he's kind of an NGO company. I think at this point he's an independent player. So I'm going to take the pull down. I'm going to call him an NGO. And his field here, his sector, this is the official list of our sector teams. So we should pick from one of these. And since he's in an NGO, I'm going to call that unassigned another primary contact. I should put in his Elliot at REVSUSTA, I think what it is. And then over here, you got a place for his contact phone. Now, this may or may not be the only place you keep this information, but it's useful in the event that we use this list to do some kind of mass mailing to all the people that we're actively working with. So let's go back over here to the very left-hand side, just show you what I've done. A lot of stuff has been cleaned out of this. I kept the old ones in here, and I think I hid some of the tabs with the old data, plus there's earlier versions of this that are kept in the Google Sheets, but we're not going to look at those right now. And I'm going to look at SunPower. Org ID, by the way, is a number that comes out of Reference USA database, and this is a way that we can kind of tie things together from different sheets. Rebecca and I are working with that. So SunPower, that's still good. In fact, I have a link there to their website. Not required, but convenient perhaps. Okay, status. If we look at these status choices, whoops, let's pull down the list here. And you can see this has been changed. This is the status that we're going to use for the outreach database, something that Todd Elvins and Peter Brin and a few other folks and I worked up a couple of months ago. It's not in place yet, but it's much more informative than the current version. And I think it's worth pointing out here that if they are a cool prospect or a warm prospect, they're probably not going to be on this list. We can track these elsewhere, either in the outreach database or on the sector team's equivalent of the sheet, their own prospect list. But this is really for companies where they are hot, meaning that we've decided to work on them. We're either identifying our goals with them, doing some research, prioritization, background, what can we appreciate, who do we know there, all of that sort of stuff. Or hot prospect 3C. The I stands for identification, the C stands for contacting, and that means we're actively trying to get that first meeting. And then this is a little bit out of order because we've got something here. When they become a 3E, they are actually engaged in discussions with us. So we may not have agreed on any particular action yet, but they've opened the door, and we're talking with them on a regular basis. So after that, again, these are things that may or may not apply to BCL work. Someone who's a friend, they'll be supportive, they'll be a research, they'll do referrals, but they're not going to go public and meet with members of Congress or anything else. Someone has endorsed, and that's it. Or this is where we want to aim with people, is ongoing advocacy, that we've got a relationship that we can draw them into. So with SunPower, we are, I don't say they're a partner yet. Well, they're somewhere between a 3E engaged. We're going to be conservative here. Oops. A 3E engaged and a partner. So 3C. Let's see. Come on, Bruce. This is your system. You can't even find stuff. Okay, HOTS prospect engaged in discussion. So that gets updated. The status last updated, we're just going to call this today because we are in the process of updating it now. Okay, so this is definitely old, and this is where you want to go in, and you may not have a most recent action. You might type in history, several meetings agreed to provide distributor referrals. So basically they said they can put us in touch with their distribution network in various places where we have campaigns going on. So the next would be contact Tom after ITC vote. And this is something that's preoccupying his time. So ITC vote in Feb. And so we'll put a follow-up date here of February 1st. And we'll use this in the future because when we get to a date that's passed, for instance, if I had set a date of 1/2 for Vivint Solar, turns red because that date has passed. So that's just a little way visually to see what things we have decided are overdue and so on. Anyway, that's been updated there. We make sure that Bruce Hagen is the lead there for SunPower, if that's changed. This isn't a pull down yet because it could be a pretty long list. We have not only the sector team leads, but we have a lot of other people involved with the sector teams who own these companies. You'll see that when you unfilter this column. This is simply, are they a company or an NGO? And that is correct. And the sector, haven't done that yet. They are a clean energy company. Tom Stars, again, I'll put in his contact information here as well as his primary phone contact number. And that's how it's done. When you go in, if you are Harold the Great, you will see lots of numbers. We've even got 2 Harolds here. But if we select that, you can see, Harold, you've got an awful lot of these in here. And again, I've saved all of this information. So if you want to just blank this out and start from scratch with Ford, that would be a good idea. Another thing is that Harold's been very good. Harold is the model student here about filling in the details on a historic basis. So this gives you an idea of the chain of events, and they may be useful in planning your next steps. But in any case, Harold, you would need to go in and assign this with a status. I would say these guys are definitely hot prospect, engaged in discussions, and so on and so forth. So hope you get the idea. If you have any questions, you know who to call. Thank you very much. I am now going to turn off the TV, if I can find it. Come on. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Stop share and end meeting. Thank you very much.